or overcome any opportunity. And that number one thing is mindset. And on my show, I bring people from different walks of life who actually come in and share their stories, their practical experiences, their life changing transformation moments, because of which mindset, because of mindset that they achieved their milestones. And today I have a very special guest, a very dear friend of mine who is on my show, and Omair. Thank you very much for joining. He does not need any introduction. He's a very well known name in the business community over here. And today we are going to discuss, yes, a little bit about business, but also about the life changing transformation that he has made. And what is that life changing transformation? We are going to discuss on this show. So, Meher, thank you very much for joining us and welcome.
Thank you, Amit, for inviting. Hello, everyone. I hope you all are having a great Friday. It's Friday today. Looking forward for the weekend.
Awesome, awesome. This is actually a very good time to have this show as well.
That's
This
right.
end of the week, and by the end of the week, people tend to go down, and listening to your story is actually going to motivate them as well over the weekend, because I'm really excited to hear about your journey. So let's start. Yeah, tell me one thing. If I want to ask you that, describe your journey, entrepreneurial journey. Let's start from there first. Your entrepreneurial journey in just three emojis. So, what would those emojis be?
Um, I think the one emoji I would really say which comes to my mind is excitement, because the challenge of obviously being an entrepreneur, it's not easy to, you have on regular basis you come across challenges, whether it's your bills, whether it's your expenses, whether it's your family. So you have to tackle those challenges along with growing your business. So if it's not exciting, it's really hard to do it. And
Mm,
whenever you face challenges, you take it as a challenge, I have to do it, man, I have to go in. That's the
mm,
reason why I said that excitement is, I think, is the emoji which I would pick.
mm. Oh no, awesome, awesome, yeah, awesome. Um, I think uh, going. Let's take you back in time, yeah. Okay, and if I talk to Umair, who's uh, like 20 years back, okay,
Really? Okay.
or is it less?
Yeah, I'm not that old, to be very honest. You think that I'm really old, but yeah, I'm not that
Uh,
old.
okay, let's say, what advice would you give to your younger self?
I think the one advice I would, uh, so which I've not already done, is basically I would say discipline. Being more like I've even now I'm not able to be very disciplined these days, because
Mm,
sometimes things comes across and you get deviated. But I meet a lot of entrepreneurs in my journey, and when I was working as an IT professional, I was doing a lot of mentoring work. But when I came into the entrepreneur world, then obviously I had a lot of entrepreneurs also coming up, and they also have the same lacking of being disciplined.
mm, mm,
To be very honest, I have paid thousands of dollars to learn how to be disciplined as well. It is not something which we are born with. You come with this challenge, and obviously you need to work it around, and you reach up to that stage. But discipline, if I would have the discipline the advice I would give to my younger version is, be more disciplined. And when I say discipline, is being consistent with your goals, how to achieve them, be honest. And sometimes we do, in our calendars we have marked appointments, but we're not meeting up to the appointments. you
mm,
know
mm, 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 mm,
Situations like that where you have challenges. And obviously at this stage where I am right now, I'm running more than 7 companies, and along with that, I have other business initiatives as well.
mm,
So
mm,
time, I have very poor time constraint, and
mm,
especially when, because a lot of entrepreneurs come and they approach me, it
mm,
becomes really challenging for me to prioritize between, okay, my business, those 7 businesses, and those
mm,
people around. So discipline is something which is really important, which keeps me on the track and manage these things accordingly.
mm,
Otherwise, it's next to impossible to
mm,
manage. Obviously, you still come across issues. It's not like that when you drive a car, you always expect to have bumps under it.
yeah,
So it's not like it's going to be a smooth ride all the time, but
mm,
you expect that.
mm. No, that is a very wonderful thing that you said, actually, because I think discipline requires us to be uncomfortable. Yeah, it's not easy. Let's state it. It's not easy. And with discipline actually comes in the other traits as well. That is consistency and time management. All of it comes after discipline. Okay, so I think you have raised a very wonderful point over here. Now let's come to what we are going to discuss, and what is the title of this show as well, the weight of success. How did that apply to your weight loss journey, to the transformation that you made? Because I've seen that transformation. I want you to explain that to people, that what sort of mindset did you have, and what mindset from your entrepreneur journey did you bring into that transformation? Because that is something which is really remarkable that you've achieved. I mean, I don't know how, it's a lots of pounds that you've lost. So how did you do that? What was the thought process behind it, and what, let's say, what was the aha moment that said, oh, this is the time, now I need to do it, that's it.
Well, you're getting into an area where it's becoming really, you know, emotional as well. But I would say, see, I've been trying to lose weight for, like, I've been obese since when I was very thin when I was 7 years old, and I
Mm,
was so thin that I was not eating anything at all, and I was very slim. I was like, not even, I was underweight.
mm, mm,
Suddenly, my mom gave me a medicine which opens your hunger.
mm,
Shit, that thing resulted, and that thing fired like hell. And then
mm,
I started gaining weight. So since my early childhood, I was overweight, and then I became obese, and then I came into that obese category.
mm,
So I've been trying, like, then obviously I've lost my, like, before coming to Australia. I came to Australia, I think in 2006. So at that time also, I was really heavyweight, and I did lose a lot of weight at that time
mm,
before coming to Australia. And then after that, I gained back again. So at that particular point of time, the reason was my family, because I was not aware that if you are overweight, your family gets affected as well. I was
mm,
actually just watching an Oprah show, and that thing inspired me so much that
mm,
you know I just had that transformation journey at that time again. But then I came to Australia. I had issues where I started my uni, and then
mm,
studies, and then obviously, in Australia, education is so expensive, and my education was self-funded. I funded my whole education myself, so that was a lot of amount you need to raise, and obviously you come across with those challenges. You don't have time, things like that. Juggling through those all issues, I ended up gaining weight because
mm,
stress was the key factor where weight was coming back on and on and on and on and on.
mm,
And I
mm,
think even now, if I'm going to get deviated from my goal, is always stress is always a factor. So once you understand what the issue is, it's much easier to work on that to see, okay, why exactly it's happening. So
mm,
that component was always the stress factor was always there, which was always deviating me from the goal. So I was always, I've met so many coaches, to be very honest.
mm,
I've uh, personal coaches. I've done all of us. There are a lot of people who were heavily invested with me on my journey.
mm,
And finally, I think my turning point was because I've done a lot of mindset trainings as well. The thing which actually really uh, was my turning point was that, my doctor actually, I had a health issue where I was diagnosed as diabetic, and then I had high cholesterol and stuff, and doctor just finally said that, hey man, you have 3 months left. And I'm like, what? So at that particular point of time, it was either for me downhill that I just spend those 3 months or reverse this thing back. So this was something which, as a mindset, hit to me that, you know what, I think this is it. And I think I've done a lot of coaching, and during those coaching as well, I've mentioned a lot of times as well. And people obviously who knows me very well and they have worked with me personally will also say that thing, that I always tell them one point that, hey, you know what? Because that was, the unconscious mind is always looking for those points. I had raised them in those sessions and in those issues that, I think I'm waiting for a point where it's gonna go worse. And that was something which I trained I don't know where it came from, but that was something which was in my mind. Something bad needs to happen, and then I'm gonna convert. Something bad needs to happen, then I'm gonna. But it was not something which I was not doing. Purposely, I was not. So that's the power of the unconscious mind controlling your whole goals and your whole task. And so when this thing happened, that hit me, and when it hit me, I became really serious. And then I started meeting doctors. I started meeting mindset coaches as well who have worked along with me. I've worked along with Ahmed, you as well,
yep.
regarding
Mm,
the mindset thing, and that thing actually helped me to have this mindset to now achieve what I have achieved now. I know it's sometimes, and when you achieve it, like, oh, really, it was not that hard. I don't know why I kept prolonging, and I remember I was doing those coaching sessions with you, and the things you have gone through, it brings that effect. But it was basically, that's where I learned the understanding of how unconscious mind works. And that's where I understood, no, no, what I need to change. And that's the reason why, and I completely changed myself. Yes, a lot of things happen. Like, it's like, you have steps, you're taking stairs to second floor,
mm,
have to go on steps, and it's not necessary that you will keep climbing the steps. You might fall down again. So for me, this journey was exactly like that. I would go to step 5, then fall back to step 1, then go back up. And then during whenever I fall, I would go and see someone to help me and to guide me. But when the mindset thing happens, that's where it was very important to understand that, okay, this is it. And that's where the whole mindset game comes in place. When you understand how the unconscious mind works, that's where exactly it hits you that, you know what, now I'm in control. So
mm, mm,
it's the best. So my earlier point was discipline. So that was continuing to the part of this, understanding the concept of unconscious mind, and then discipline was a lot of important mindsets, coaches, all of this has played that role.
mm,
Now achieve this where I am today.
mm. So that's a very interesting thing actually that you've said. You mentioned that you were waiting for something bad to happen and then you would change. So I think those are some of the signs of transformation. Because transformation happens in what I say, and it's just two types. One is, yeah, gradually you learn, you grow, and you know what you are doing, right? And okay, you learn some skill, you've learned some technical skill, you learn some soft skill, and you gradually grow. But the other transformation is when you don't have any other option other than to change. And like you said that you're standing on a cliff and the only way was to jump.
Or yeah.
You don't have any other option but to change. So very thank you very much, Umair, for being so much vulnerable. Okay, let me tell you one thing. Sorry, let me ask you one thing. Any unexpected moment during this complete transformation process? I mean, or you can make, because you've been so much emotional, you can make it funny as well. Any unexpected moment during this complete transformation journey? Because I know it had been a very big toll on you. So there must have been some moments which might have made you laugh.
Yeah, like there were a lot of moments where, it was funny, but a lot of embarrassment moments as well. Every time when you don't do something and you're standing in front of your coach and your coach is like, hey, why did you do it? I'm like, oh, man, shit. I remember even talking to you, but we did our sessions, I was so motivated. And then suddenly you came and said, hey, what happened? And I was like, yeah, man, I know. So it's like, see, that it's you can see that people can give excuses, and I'm one of those people who would give all the excuses I have in my bag to just not do it. And it's obviously, yeah, in the and I know basically in the coaching industry, if someone comes to you and says, hey, I need help, and then you ask them, all
Hmm.
right, so who have you met before coming here? And if you answer, oh, I've met the personal coach, I've met business coaches, I've met the health coaches and gymnasts and exercise physiologists and all that. I've met all of these people, but no one was able to resolve my problem. So
You are here.
then you get an answer from that person that how do you expect then me to resolve what there's a very funny term on that. They say, just give them an F of prize. And if they're willing to do it, then they can.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. So that's very interesting thing, because in our coaching world, this is something we definitely ask, that okay, what have you done before
Mhm.
to work on this problem? And when you have this much of uh, people who have worked with you and still there is no effect, then there is really something wrong.
There is, yeah.
Because
So,
the thing is, what we say is that, if it has worked for somebody, it will work for you as well. I mean, like you said, discipline, right? So discipline has worked for you in your entrepreneurial journey, right? That's why you're here. So discipline is definitely going to work in other places as well.
that's what I'm saying. The FF price for me was more than 100,000 to get that mindset and understand, right? So I didn't learn. But
Mm.
after spending that more than 100,000, now I have learned that you need to be disciplined. And this is what I've not learned. So I could have done that. I could have learned, or I could have understood that from that was the funny moment. Like this is the learning. So it's like, you know what? After so many things, you come up and you say, it
Only discipline.
was this. And you have spent so much money, time, effort, and people are constantly telling you that same thing. So sometimes, people will only learn when they will fall badly. And for me, falling badly was, getting that news from the doctor. And the second thing was out of pocket 100,000.
Mm, mm, mm.
That's where I learned the same thing which I should have learned before, being disciplined.
Like, tell me one thing. Let, if you're given a, let's say you are on a remote island,
Hmm.
okay, deserted island. You want to spend some time over there, okay, and you have a choice to make. Now, listen this very carefully. You have a choice to make. Either you can take a business book, or you can take a gym equipment.
Hmm.
So, what is going to be your choice, and why?
Uh, my feelings for both of them, one was the health was very down, but now they both health is gone up in terms of having the importance in my life.
Hmm.
I would say, can I have a third option?
Ju- the more choices, the more options I give, the more confused you are going to get. That's why that's just two options.
So with those two options, I think I would say I would use uh, the gym equipment because you need business can only happen when you are healthy.
Hmm. Hmm.
When you are on the very downside of your health, to be very honest, I've been in those situations where everyone will leave you because everyone wants to see you healthy. I've seen people who have been on bed. One of my turning points was also that one of my gym trainer, and he's actually a very good friend of mine. He was also very attached to me on my journey, but I let him down as well at that particular time.
Hmm.
He told me a story where there was a mother who was who was really overweight and she couldn't just put up her pants on, and it was really hard for her to put up those pants. And her kids left her. She was divorced. The husband left her because she couldn't walk, she couldn't go to the toilet, she couldn't do any of those things. And the husband left her. The kids, one of the kids hanged around with her, but every time she wanted to put on the pants, she would call the son, and the son would come in and then help her get the pants on. So the moment of embarrassment over there, that you have gone to a stage where you're not even able to pull up your pants, was an understanding because your health does not allow you to do that. And that is where same thing happened. So same point triggered to me that if I'm gonna not be healthy and be on the bed for so long, and why would I be a burden on someone? Like in my in my values, in my culture where I come from, or my father has always taught me. My father had left this world without being a burden on anyone, and he always prayed to God, saying the same thing, that if I've been taken out of this world, I should be going with my hands and legs working. Because, and I've seen those people who have been on bed for 10 years and 12 years or 20 years who can't do anything at all, and they just rely on someone else to do it. So that point of pain is really hard for someone to go through. And that is the reason why health has now become a very important part of my life, and my values is very high for the health is exactly the same reason. Because if you don't have the health, you don't expect anything. Things can go wrong. There will be no business left. People will leave you behind. No one will ask you, you know, you can't do anything. No friends, nothing, because everyone has their own life. They're all busy in that. And if you are dependent on them at one stage, they will leave you behind. So this is the reason why health is very important. And even your kids want you to be healthy. Your kids want you to play with them. Your kids want you to spend time with them. And if you're just lying on the bed for the whole day, you can't expect your kids to sit beside your bed all day with you and spend time. No, they will not do it. So the harsh reality of life is that if you don't have health, you cannot do anything in this world. So I've seen people who have come to the stage where they try to commit suicide as well because of those reasons. So why push yourself to that extreme point? Why push yourself to do go there? So that is the reason that's would be my choice to pick that option. Even
Okay.
though it feels inside I don't want to, but because of all of these facts, it's my away motivation to go and pick it.
And I think that's a very wise choice. because I mean, if I talk about myself as well, I also went on a weight loss journey like 6 7 months back. I lost like about what about around about 15 odd kilos. I don't know how much pounds it is, and one of the main reasons was actually what you've just touched upon, and that was a realization that hit me that what about what about my kids? I mean, I don't want to be in a position that one day I get a letter from the doctor that okay, you have just a month to live. That's why actually I went on that journey, and you are very right. I mean, it's it's a realization,
You
and it's something within our, I think, culture as well, that we pray. We don't want to be we don't want to die with our hands and legs not working. We don't want to be a burden on anybody,
know,
and that's very important. And the health aspect, it's a very wise choice that you have mentioned as well. One of the reasons is, and religiously as well, it's said that when Hazrat Moses was talking to Allah, and he said that okay, if you were in my place, what would you have asked for? And he said health. So that's the importance actually, and that's why a very wise choice, I would say. I would say that you have made. So talking about your entrepreneur journey, and mashallah, you've done so well. Who is exactly your role model? Who do you model, I would say?
okay. So basically, I still remember this conversation having this when my elder brother does exactly the same business as what I do.
Mhm,
One of my core business. So
mm,
he's always been an inspirational model for me and
mm,
always been following. And my competition is also with him.
mm,
So it's he does not want to, he says you are still a kid. And I know that's how he treats me. He says,
mm,
I know, I've been there. And I'm like, no, I have to, show him. I have to. So that I know my brother has given me so much that I can't thank him enough to basically, obviously everyone thinks of having that elder brother, and he's that kind of brother who's actually a father to me as well. Because when my father passed away, he was the person who took care of the whole family, and he was there to support us. So I've always looked up for him, and being an entrepreneur thing is in our blood. So that's what he told me.
mm,
So I remember one time my ex-boss, who I was resigning, he told me you can never do business.
mm,
What? Said that's a shocking, because I told him, man, I'm trying to start my own company. So he told me you can never do a business. You're too emotional to do business.
mm, mm,
I
mm,
was like, really? And that I was very confused. I was like, what? I don't know. So then what happened? I went into the. I was standing there, and I called my brother, and I called him. I said, "Hey, uh, you know what? I got this news from my Xbox saying that I cannot do business, and I'm too emotional to do a business." And my ex brother went said, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "Say, what? Why are you saying that?" He
mm,
said, "Business is in our blood. We
mm,
have been doing business since our generations.
mm,
Pick up our family history,
mm,
majority has done business.
mm,
So what are you saying? Your boss is an idiot." And that thing struck me. I said, yeah, he might be right,
mm,
because it's there. People will throw you all sort of comments. I've done so many things in my life where people initially laughed, said, yeah, you can't do it.
mm,
But I've made it possible today. one
mm,
of one, one of the things which I'm really proud of, the things, is also having a business community within the Pakistani business owners.
mm, mm,
We actually have a business group where all the Pakistani business owners actually is part of it. So when I
mm,
was starting that, people were literally laughing at me, saying, "Hey, Pakistani business owners working together, you must be dreaming." And they started laughing. And literally, I was sitting there, and there were 4 or 5 people who
mm,
were entrepreneurs as well, and they started
mm,
laughing. face. And I was like, what are you saying? And
mm,
now, after 6 years, this is I have made that possible where we have a group of more than 500 business owners, and then they have exchanged more than $6 million worth of leads in there. That's
mm,
not normal. It's not. It's something which is taking them together, working along. It comes with challenges, as I said. It's not like it was a very smooth ride, but you being in that stage and understanding those things and taking it further, having that same consistency and working towards that thing is something which really is some which helps you to grow. And
mm,
this is the reason why, I've always followed my brother. I've always followed him in guidance. I've inspired from others. I've learned from a lot of people in this process where there are more than 500 entrepreneurs. I've learned from them as well. It's
mm,
not like I've given them something, but learned so much from them that
mm,
that actually has helped me to be the person I am today.
mm. And that's awesome. That's awesome. And I really, uh, for your initiative, I really commend you for that, bringing all of the business community, APBN, that is, Australia Pakistan Business Network, and the effort that you have put in it, and bringing all the businesses together, working those businesses working together, and exchanging leads, becoming networkers for other businesses or for their own clients, and that's a commendable effort, and that's actually one of a very rare feat that has been achieved, and hats off to you for that. One of the things that I've noticed during this conversation is that you have a very commendable, I would say, competitive spirit, and that actually has also reflected in your weight loss journey. Yes, discipline is there. You have spent a lot of money, I know that, but somewhere down the line there was this competitiveness as well, and that competition was with yourself.
True.
That yes, I climbed one step and then went down, then I climbed two steps, then I went down, then I climbed five steps, then I went down. So that was a competition with yourself as to this time I'm going to do it. And hats off to you, and the transformation that you have achieved is amazing. I,
Uh,
let's let's bring it to a little bit lighter side. If I tell you to pick up a song for that represents your journey so far, so what that song would be? I would say, okay, this is the song that represents my journey. Or let's say that what is the song that motivates you? I'll tell you up the song that motivates me is Stand Up for the Champions. I really love that those lyrics of those songs. What is your song that represents your journey, or I mean, that you love to hear?
So as I told you earlier as well, I think we were chatting it back. My songs always changes depending on the situations I'm in. So
Mhm,
I always have those motivation songs. I think if I have to pick one song, it's not actually a song, but it's a song, but morely a tune kind of thing. It's like Desert Rose. So
mhm,
Desert Rose is something. So that whenever it plays, my mind just goes, you know what, I'm doing it. And it also helps me to be in control again, be in the action again, and go in front. So it's, you sometimes you can always program these kind of things to have that motivation come back up. So I think this is the song which I would pick, which actually programs me back to go, you know what, that's the target. Let's go and do it.
awesome, awesome. Okay, you mentioned that you have like seven businesses you are running. That's quite a plate full. Now, if just for fun you want to start another business, what would that be?
Ah,
Weight loss, any weight loss program?
no, not really. It's funny though, yeah, because this could be a business as well. A lot of people are approaching me. One of the guys approached me, said, "Hey, I'm gonna pay you $20,000 just say that this is the product you used to do the weight loss. So I'm like, oh really? That's good. So, I know, there are things there. Um, one business I really like doing,
Mm,
and it's very emotional as well. And I think I might do it in future as well, is the business related to education.
mm,
So, because being at this age, I understand that a lot of things, a lot of these challenges, a lot of these issues, discipline, mindset, challenges could have been fixed if we would have had been a proper, we would have learned from a proper education system, or I also basically I come from a Muslim. I'm actually a Muslim, alhamdulillah, and I
me
came
too.
from a Muslim background. So having that understanding and coming from that space, basically understanding the concept of being Muslim background also, it's not easy because a lot of things get easier for us being because we have been given a certain guideline.
Mm,
Our books have given that certain guideline. They have told us. They have told us to do it. Just give me a second.
no worries. All good. All good.
Oh, sorry. Basically, I had some.
No, that's all good. That's all good. That's all good.
So,
No, I think you have touched a very, very important point about education over here. Uh, why? Because I think there are certain set of skills that we have learned now, which we would definitely, if we would have learned earlier, would have been beneficial. So I think for a certain set of age, and I think young children specifically, this is what I would be doing, and to give them a guideline or create a guideline for them as to what skills or trades they would need in order to be at a certain stage or certain level, and that's actually a very very interesting thing that you've mentioned over here, a very interesting point that you've raised.
because I've learned that, and I've taken this. Sorry.
Mm,
I've learned that, and I've understood that. Like looking at my kids, I've learned this from my kids as well.
mm,
Uh, I've learned that from my kids. Give me a second. I'll just close it.
mm, no worries.
So my kids used to go to public school because before I was starting business, I couldn't afford a private school, and
Mm,
I sent my kids to public school. I'm not saying that there is something wrong on sending kids to public school, but understanding and having that information coming from a public school, your kids do learn from that environment, and
mm,
especially understanding how the unconscious mind concept works. The kids learn from the environments. I found a difference. when my kids started going to Islamic school or private schools, the way how they have transformed, and by seeing that transformation
mm,
within them, that's where I've learned that this is something which is really important. And as a parent, sometimes we do make choices and we say, you know what, it's bullshit, we'll just do, we'll go, his kids are also going, they are also going. It's not about that. It's not about, other kids are going to school as well,
mm,
but it's the concept of that environment. You want to be, if you want to be like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, you need
mm,
to surrounded yourself within the environment of the similar kind of people.
mm,
Expect Bill Gates kids to go to a public school
mm, mm,
or that university. So that is the reason when you're choosing your universities or when you're choosing your school, you need to be you need to be picking up the top-notch places because that's where your kids will go. That's where they will make friends. That's the kind of environment and circle they will
mm,
be surrounded with. And it's sometimes even if the kids are not good enough, but if they surround themselves in that environment helps them to grow
mm,
further. That is the reason you pick and choose the schools or you pick and choose these things for the environment. And we have a lot of lacking within Australia, within
mm,
other parts of the world.
mm,
Islamic education is very less,
mm,
not formalized. It's there on a side level, it's not on the schooling level.
mm,
So, being a Muslim, I would love my kids to be raised as the Islamic, or even I don't want them to be, go extremist, but I want them to at least have that choice that
mm,
what is right and what is wrong. And Alhamdulillah, they have made those choices. I know they have made that transformation. They have learned this, but still, a lot of people, to be very honest, I've seen people uh, in the other part of the world, uh, and I've seen kids have no understanding or no knowledge about the religion, and somehow think what happens is they end up without the religion. So this is something I'm always things these like things inspire me. So that is the reason I said that if I want to do a business again, education would be the business I would really love to do because it's not only a business I would be doing, I will also be helping the community, I will also be serving a purpose. And we all know, like, my personal beliefs are that this life is a very short and temporary life. We are not going to live in this world for long. We are only here for a few years. God knows, I don't know how much time I have left. But the permanent world is the life after. So instead
yes.
of working for this life, why don't we make a passion or work towards a goal, which is not only going to help us here, but also going to help us life after.
Mm. I think that's a very, very good point that you've raised. And I think do something that stays or becomes your legacy as well. You know what
Mm.
I mean? I mean that if you go away from this world as well, people remember you for that good that you've done. I think education, and specifically Islamic education, giving in or teaching those set of skills that are required to live a balanced life, are very much important for the kids of today's generation.
Mm.
And what I'm doing now is I'm preparing a course for kids aged 10 to 16, uh, for them to actually learn certain set of leadership skills, because that's a very, what's a crucial age
True.
that requires those certain or knowledge about those certain set of skills, and relate it how our religion has actually preached about those skills, and how, and let's see how it goes. And
That's a very awesome idea.
yeah,
Basically,
I've started working on that. And
why don't you convert that as a business?
let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. I've planned it. It's going to be a 10-part series, and videos are not going to be much long. It's just 20 to 30 minutes videos. That's it. And it's going to be based on certain leadership skills that are required. And starting actually from I did one with my son and his friends. It was around consistency, and it was nice, cool. It was an experiment, and it worked. And now I'll turn it into a course. So
I
let's
think
see.
I have a very strong feeling on this.
Hmm,
I do like to be very honest, I'm a tech guy. So you expect me to, accept the concept of video trainings based,
hmm,
I've done my learning through that. I completely understand that.
hmm, hmm,
The challenge I have these days
hmm,
is they are also attached to technology. You know what? We always discuss these things, break the pattern.
hmm,
We
hmm,
need to
hmm,
break the pattern to have that understanding. I do understand that when kids go in front of the screen, the first thing they want to do is games.
hmm, hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think even if you make courses, I think it would be my suggestion. I would say, why don't you do workshops, physical
Hmm,
workshops? Give that environment to the kids, because the kind of kids who are going to come into these kind of workshops is also going to give that environment, those friends to those people, and it
hmm,
should be paid workshops. I'm pretty honest,
hmm,
every parents will be happy to pay for their kids to attend these workshops, because not only the kids are going to learn leadership,
hmm, hmm.
also going to get that environment, they're also going to make friends who's actually going to be their future friends, and they will be on that level.
Little bit a network, little bit build a
Correct.
community actually. What I did was I did a physical workshop actually. It was not a workshop. It was just a session with my son and few of his friends, and I recorded it actually. It was like I think last week. Yeah, last week I did. And once I did that, and then I thought that okay, let me just record all of these sessions and I'll put up a course and sell it.
Saying why don't you consistently do it physical, and you
Yeah,
can
I think
also
that's a good idea.
creative kids voucher as well. There are creative kids vouchers available which you can claim on this kind of
Mm,
thing.
mm,
There are a lot of people. Oh, I think it's a great idea. Like leadership,
mm,
building leadership within the kids is
mm.
something which is very important, and learning at that stage and having this consistently is going to definitely help. See, our entrepreneur minds will never stop. Every
Yeah,
night,
this is actually
new idea, another idea.
when you told about education and kids, and I said that okay, this is what I've already started doing. Okay, no, that was really awesome, yeah, Omair. It was wonderful talking to you, and as always, it is, and especially coming on to this show and sharing some being very vulnerable, I would say, and sharing some wonderful snippets from the journey that you've taken on your transformation and something from your business as well. And I've learned a lot. I've learned about discipline. Yeah, I preach about discipline as well, competitiveness, and yeah, Desert Rose. I'm definitely going to listen to that. Uh, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you very much. And yeah, let's say goodbye now.
Thank you
Any
so
any final words you have before we say sign off?
I think thank you so much for inviting, and definitely I would love to be here and being, you know, one of during my journey, and I still remember that we were going through those exercises
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
You were helping me with my stuff. That learning is still intact with me, and I'm telling you, see, coaching concept do works at a very great extent. My transformation is actually a result of that.
Mm,
So I just want to thank you as well, saying thanks, Mike. Thanks for being there.
mm,
Obviously we started that, but we became really good friends in a very short frame of time, and I
okay.
just love to be around you as well. So thank you so much for inviting, and this is awesome, and looking forward for more future interviews. One of them we have already started, the education leadership.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Let's do that. We are going to do that. And the learnings that you mentioned, and you know what our coach Chris says, right? All learning is unconscious.
Learning is unconscious. That's right.
Unconscious. All right, with that. we sign off. Thank you, viewers. Thank you for watching. And yeah, see you in the next episode. चलो भाई लाइव स्ट्रीम स्टॉप कर दी रिकॉर्डिंग भी स्टॉप कर देते हैं
Yeah.